speaker for tonight is Noah Welsh. Noah Welsh is a local independent author. He is a graduate of John Glenn High School, where he was a member of National Honor Society and New York University. He directs a local artists group, LavaLamp Studios, which is currently in production on a local documentary involving Stark County teens. Everyone, please welcome Noah Welsh.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to speak on such a special night. Thanks especially to the National Honor Society inductees, and congratulations. So I'm here to speak about service, but as I was putting everything together, I found myself, as usual, on social media. And out there amid celebrations of Leonardo DiCaprio's Oscar win and arguments about whether Batman or Superman is the coolest hero, the answer is Batman, by the way, there's a trend that really bothers me. Perhaps you've seen it yourself. It's a collection of memes, tweets, and even rants, and they all contain the phrase, kids these days. They say things like, kids these days would rather stare at their phones than read a book. Kids these days have no idea how to work for a living. Kids these days have no respect. Kids these days are lazy, selfish. They want instant gratification and hate to be told no. The sad thing is, many of you have probably heard this in person, not just online. Maybe it has been from grandparents, teachers, aunts or uncles, even politicians. When I was your age, we played outside until the streetlights came on. That's my personal favorite. And they mean it too. They really think these things. But it's not because there's any truth to it. People are scared. They're scared of how strong young people are today. It is important to pick up a book now and then. But that little device you hold in your hand at dinner, the one you use to break up those awkward conversations with people you don't really know, like when you pretend to have a text so that you don't have to make eye contact. I've done that plenty of times. That device can help you share ideas with people on the other side of the world. You can instantly communicate with someone from Beijing or Peru or Sydney, Australia. You can hear what they're thinking, learn about their passions, spread positivity. You shouldn't fear that. You have the power to make a difference in a life that you can't even see. But like all power, you have to harness it in the right way. And that's why you're here tonight. These are your first steps in learning about the tools that you have right now to impact the world. And that's an exciting place to be. So yeah, you're scary to other generations, because I can promise you one thing. The world is going to look a whole lot different when you're done with it. You young people have more compassion and empathy for others than any generation before you, because you can see it. You can see the world every day. You have the knowledge, most of it right in the palm of your hand, and the drive. And you know what? We need you, because we've done a pretty good job of screwing things up. Like with any other generation, yours will rely on its leaders. Tonight, by accepting your induction into the National Honor Society, you are accepting your place among those who will stand up and guide not just the young people around you, but a society that will turn to you. And there's only one way you can answer that call to your potential. Be passionate. See, here's another thing that scares people older than you, including me. You have so many choices. Choices that many others did not and still do not. Whatever your passion, be it science or acting or basketball or social work, you can now connect with millions of others like you. You can form teams and coalitions and businesses. More than ever before, a young person can grab onto his or her passion and hold on. And that's exactly what it takes. That's also why there is no excuse for this world to remain the same. So what happens when you find the passion? I can only tell you my story. When I was 4 years old, I was sitting in a movie theater with my parents, and I saw a T-Rex as real as anything I had ever seen before step out of the trees and onto the road of Jurassic Park. It roared, but even that sound was nothing compared to the screams and laughter of everyone around me. They all turned into kids again on the edge of their seats. And at that moment, I knew. I wanted to tell stories. That was my passion. I was lucky to discover it young, and to this day, through novels, short stories, podcasts, I hold on to it. But even with that passion, there was something missing. It took me a long time to figure it out. In fact, it wasn't until 4 years ago, 19 years after that movie, that I began to understand why passion is important. It's a truth that seems to evade so many artists and actors and musicians. In fact, it took something unexpected for me to find it. I got a job at a middle school. For those of you wondering, yes, that is exactly as frustrating as it sounds. When describing it to my family and friends, I would often use metaphors such as screaming at a brick wall or bashing my skull against, well, a brick wall. But there were these moments, these times in which I could see past the emotional roller coasters, the anxiety over holding hands with a boy or a girl, and the distracting hygiene oversights, where there would be this little spark of life, this electric current of youth that was wide-eyed and alive. I wanted to tell that story. In May of 2015, I launched LavaLamp Studios. It's a local artist group that works in teams to bring various forms of art to the area. Our first and most ambitious project so far is an ongoing documentary about the lives of 4 Stark County teenagers. You live, in case you don't know, in one of the poorest counties in Indiana. Drug use and incarceration rates are high. Unemployment is rampant. You all have a disadvantage to overcome. My goal is to help 4 young people experience the wider world. Ultimately, we plan to document their lives and then put them on a plane to another country. We plan to show them that people are struggling everywhere, that there are stories under every walk of life, within every village, behind every pair of eyes on this planet. And that was the next step to my passion, other people. You see, behind greasy t-shirts and oily faces and insecure bodies, there were beating hearts. And so it is true of everyone. So if you are a scientist, bring discovery or help or understanding to others. If you're an actor, bring them catharsis, or at the very least, help them forget about the bad things for a few hours. If you play basketball, rile them up. If you're a social worker, hold their hands when they need it, and then give them the strength to walk on their own. No passion is solely about the dreamer. No project is solely about its creator. No life is solely about the one living it. I don't care if you stare at your phone. I don't care if you text instead of call. I don't care that you cover my Facebook walls with videos of kittens being adorable. I don't even care if you didn't have any clue what I was talking about when I referenced Jurassic Park. That's the one without Chris Pratt, in case you're wondering. And honestly, sunshine and exercise are really good for you. But it doesn't matter if you stay out until the streetlights come on. But spend those hours one way or another, building yourself up in pursuit of your passion. And when you have it, turn it loose on the world. Use it to help others with ferocity. There are too many people out there who need it. As I looked online for some of those ridiculous kids these days memes, I saw my own name come up. Apparently, I'm getting old because I forgot that I wrote an article on my blog, yes, I'm one of those people, on my blog over a year ago that briefly touched on the subject. One of the paragraphs went like this, if you'll indulge me. You didn't create the world you live in. You didn't invent cell phones. You didn't buy your own video games. You were told that the outside world is a scary place and then blamed for not wanting to go and explore it. Perhaps you were sheltered from confrontation by those who didn't have time to teach you. So, what are you going to do about it? I've seen people your age build robots, make movies, and paint the most impressive pieces of art. I've seen you design video games, outsmart tech geniuses, and play furious drums. I've also seen you stand together with more loyalty and compassion than I have seen in any other generation. You are creators, and your greatest invention will be an astounding future, as long as you remember to invent together. I couldn't agree with myself more. So now, here you are, members of the National Honor Society, citizens of the world who have promised to make an impact. That's a lot of responsibility. So I ask again, what are you going to do about it? I hope that your answer proves a lot of people wrong, and I really hope that your answer one day changes the world. Thank you.